Hello, everyone. Today I'm starting a new project where I'm going to be watching one movie a day to the end of the month of April 2021. So there's going to be 18 movies. I'm choosing one film a day from the Criterion channel. These are movies that are new to the channel in the month of April 2021. I'm going to do them in chronological order. If I'm successful in doing this, I might do it in May, maybe not one a day, but I'll try to do a whole bunch of them. To start off, I'm going back to 1948 for Force of Evil. It's considered one of the great masterpieces of film noir. I haven't seen it in quite a while, but it certainly stood up. I was just amazed by many aspects of the film. Abraham Polanski wrote the film. He had written Body and Soul for John Garfield. Garfield started his own production company, Enterprises Production. Body and Soul was a hit. He liked Polanski. He encouraged him to direct this next film for his production company, Force of Evil. It's full of poetic dialogue that is very unusual and very intense. Both Polanski and the cinematographer George Barnes, they go for a look that will evoke Edward Hopper. Deliberately did that, and in the composition and the lighting, it's absolutely gorgeous. And the location photography around New York City, Wall Street. It's a great opening shot, bird's eye view of all the little ants on their way to make their fortunes on Wall Street. Garfield's a lawyer heavily connected with the mob. He's trying to save his brother, who is a low-level numbers man. He considers himself a businessman, not a gangster. Garfield, his younger brother, who they've been estranged from each other, is trying to save him from a scheme that the bigger, higher-up gangsters have hatched that are going to put the older brother out of business. He's played by Thomas Gomez, the older brother. There's a new actress introducing Beatrice Reardon. Her name was, and she was discovered on stage by David Selznick. He introduced her to Garfield, and Garfield liked her, and she plays the role of the love interest that is trying to humanize Garfield, who is totally into the whole ethos of kind of a narcissistic male behavior that you just get what you want, and it's stupid not to. When you have a chance to make your million, it doesn't matter whether it's legal or not, you've got to do it. And there's a scene that Garfield and Beatrice Reardon have in a taxi cab that certainly brings to mind the Marlon Brando Rod Steiger scene in On the Waterfront. And this is a scene where Polanski really is at his best in the dialogue. I mean, Garfield just goes on and on with this selfish attitude that greed is good. And this leads to what is another very interesting aspect of Force of Evil, is that Polanski was a Marxist. I'm not sure whether he was ever a member of the Communist Party. It's likely he was, I guess. And Garfield and another actor, I think his name was Howard Chamberlain. They were all under the gun from the blacklist. This is 1948, House on Un-American Activities Committee. They were looking at the people who in the 1930s during the Depression had joined groups that they thought were communists. It wasn't against the law to be a communist or a Marxist, and the Un-American is basically on-capitalistic. So Polanski, like many film noirs, were about greed and corruption of the spirit, and how greed results in not just going to jail, but corrupting the spirit. This is heavily emphasized in Force of Evil, probably more so than other film noirs, but equating gangsters with businessman is in The Godfather as well. But in this era, in the post-war era, the new Cold War, they these people were suspect. And 3 years after the movie was made, Garfield, who his health wasn't very good to begin with, so his career over, and he died. Polanski, I think he may have been a front during or he may have had fronts and did script doctoring and such. And he doesn't make another movie for about 21 years when he makes Tell Them Willie Boy is here with Robert Redford. And Chamberlain, who gives a really indelible, amazing little performance as a scaredy cat bookkeeper who wants to get out of his gangster life, but they won't let him. He's unemployable till the late 60s as well. So you do see, the un-American. This would be a movie you'd probably say, well, is it teaching the right values, if you consider American values to be equal to the values of capitalism? So it's a film, I think, that as I said in the beginning, it was really stood the test of time as a kind of not just an example of film noir, but it really kind of even transcends that. It transcends the genre in its poetic power. The final scene where John Garfield, the final passage where John Garfield descends these stairs, and he's just constantly going down the stairs searching for his brother. And in the way that's shot, it's just go down and down. He's descended all the way into hell. You get that. You definitely get that feeling. And I don't think there's any sequence like that in all of film noir. So that would be the first of the film that I think tomorrow I'm going to do Caught with Robert Ryan, James Mason. I think it's Barbara Bel Geddes. It's another one I haven't seen in quite a while, directed by Max Ophuls. Hopefully that'll be as good as this was. This was a good movie to start this project off with, and I will. And Force of Evil had come out on Olive Films about 10 years ago, but I believe it's out of print. Maybe you can find used prints. And Criterion Channel right now is the only streaming service according to JustWatch.com, and definitely a movie it's got to get a Blu-ray release. It's certainly highly regarded by both critics and by fans of film noir. And also, I did mention that Mary Windsor is in this film, and she doesn't have a big role, and she's described in many of the reviews as being a femme fatale in this film, but she comes on to John Garfield, but I didn't get the feeling of the femme fatale so much. But it's always good to see Marie Windsor in a film of this era. She certainly had a very unique beauty and a very good actress as well. So if you have any comments on the movie, any comments about the kind of project that I'm on, which is basically trying to structure films to watch, so I'm not sitting there looking at the television wondering what am I going to watch next. I did do a video that sort of explains all that. I think it either came out yesterday or earlier, before I made this film, this video. So other than that, like I say, I'll be back with Caught tomorrow, and other than that, you guys take care.